Hello, welcome to our special edition of Arirang News. I'm Daniel Che on this hour, and other than our regularly scheduled newscast, we will be covering what will be the starting point of President Moon Jae-in's official Olympic schedule, the International Olympic Committee, or the IOC's 132nd session. The General Assembly of the IOC is held in Gangneung, a coastal city located some 230 kilometers east of the nation's capital. It's also the joint host of the Winter Games with neighboring PyeongChang. Some 800 attendees, including 100 IOC members, are expected to be a part of the annual meeting. According to the presidential office, it is customary for the IOC to hold its annual General Assembly in the host country in the year the global sporting event is being held. He will attend a reception for visiting IOC members before the session. He would have attended it by now. The highlight of the evening will be, of course, the Liberal leader's speech at the event. Now let's take a look at the site where the preparations are being made. There are a lot of exciting events lined up for the event. We have, of course, the president and, of course, the president of the IOC, Thomas Bach, also stepping up to the podium to deliver his address as well. For us, we will be anticipating President Moon Jae-in thanking the IOC support and, of course, the international community for supporting South Korea's efforts to hold the Olympics of Peace, with North Korea cordially invited to be a part of the celebrations. The two hosts are getting the celebrations and the ceremonies kick-started right now. Let's go straight to the scene.
First, we will sing the Olympic anthem. The Olympic anthem expresses hope and desire to bring the everlasting spirit of the Olympic Games to life, and in doing so, unite the world. 찬가를 부를 합창단은 대한민국에 정착한 다문화 가정의 어린이들로 구성되어 있는 아름드리 합창단입니다. 다양한 문화가 하나의 소리를 내어 많은 이들에게 꿈과 희망, 그리고 아름다운 하모니를 선사해 줍니다.
Now let me introduce 아름드리, the children's choir from multicultural families in Korea, the embodiments of country's diversity. Their one voice will deliver the message of dream, hope, and beautiful harmony to the world.
모두 자리에서 일어나 주시면 감사하겠습니다.
I kindly ask everyone to rise from your seat to welcome them.
네, 이어서 애국가 지창이 있겠습니다. 애국가 역시 선체로 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 애국가는 한국 대중음악을 대표하여 그룹 엑소의 백현 씨가 1절만 부르겠습니다.
Next is the national anthem of the Republic of Korea. Please remain standing for the anthem. Baekhyun, member of Korea's music group EXO, will perform the first verse of the song.
네, 모두 자리에 앉아 주십시오.
Please take your seat.
네, 아름다운 하모니로 합창을 보여준 아름드리 합창단과 그룹 엑소의 백션 씨에게 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Please give a big hand again for the beautiful harmony of the choir 아름드리 and a wonderful performance by Baekhyun of EXO.
네, 모두가 기다려온 평창 올림픽의 개막이 불과 나흘 앞으로 다가왔습니다. 여러분들의 노고가 있었기에 평창 동계 올림픽이 더욱더 뜻깊은 축제의 장이 될 것이라고 생각합니다.
The long-awaited opening ceremony of the PyeongChang 2018 Winter Games is only 4 days away. Thanks to your unwavering commitment and hard work, the PyeongChang 2018 Winter Games will be a truly festive celebration.
영상에서 보셨다시피 이번 평창 동계 올림픽에서 모든 스포츠인을 넘어 온 세계가 올림픽 정신을 통해 하나 되는 세상을 만나게 되기를 바랍니다.
As seen in the video, the Olympic Winter Games PyeongChang 2018 endeavored to bring not only the athletes but the whole world together through the Olympic spirit.
아울러 이번 132회 IOC 총회에서 평화를 위한 많은 과제들이 순조롭게 해결되길 바라면서 끝까지 많은 관심 부탁드립니다.
Moreover, we hope that the 132nd IOC session will address the challenges we face to achieve world peace and look forward to your continued support and interest.
자, 그럼 이어지는 순서로 이희범 평창 올림픽 조직위원장님의 개회사가 있겠습니다. 여러분 큰 박수로 맞이해 주십시오.
Please greet Mr. Lee Hee-bum with a big applause.
His Excellency Moon Jae-in, President of the Republic of Korea, IOC President Thomas Bach, IOC and Olympic family members, Excellencies, Majesties, Royal Highnesses, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is with a tremendous honor and privilege for me to stand just in front of you this evening to welcome you here in this history-honored and culture-oriented city of Gangneung. We Koreans, young and old, men and women, will still vividly remember the resounding success story of the Seoul 1988, exactly 30 years ago from now on the soil of Korea. We have traveled a 7-year-long journey of preparations since PyeongChang was awarded games in Durban IOC session following an enduring third-time bid process. PyeongChang 2018 Winter Games, both in quantity and quality aspects would serve as new record holders, thus showcasing a new milestone in the history of Olympic movement. Firstly, PyeongChang 2018 Winter Games will be participated by the most ever number of participating delegations. Secondly, PyeongChang Games will serve as a culture Olympics on the theme of everyday culture and festival. Thirdly, PyeongChang Games will be highlighted with its ICT Olympics, showcasing Korea's advanced, particularized technologies and global Olympic family members. Fourthly, PyeongChang Games will serve as a Peace Olympics. As you are well aware, South and North Korean delegations will march together here in PyeongChang at the Olympic opening ceremony for the fourth time. In the history of Olympic Games, and the unified Korean women's ice hockey team will be the first ever case in the Olympic Games history. As IOC President Thomas Bach has frequently reiterated, quote, "No other event brings the entire world together like the Olympic Games," unquote. Ladies and gentlemen, PyeongChang Games will open an Asian era in the Olympic Games, and PyeongChang will be the starting point of the 3 consecutive Olympic and Paralympic Games in Northeast Asia. In 2 and 4 years' time, respectively, our partners, friends from Tokyo 2020 and Beijing 2022 will also stand in front of you for support of the Games' success. As President Moon Jae-in of the Republic of Korea aspired at the UN General Assembly, we Koreans hope that these 3 Olympic Games become a window of opportunities for promoting peace and economic cooperation in Northeast Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, PyeongChang Games is the biggest global event opening this year, 2018. So far, PyeongChang has continued to work together with the IOC and the Winter International Federations to ensure a successful organization of PyeongChang Games. As IOC President Thomas Bach used to mention, IOC, IPC, and PyeongChang are in the same boat, sailing in the same direction till the end of the Paralympic Winter Games on March 18th. Our success is your success. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thank IOC President and the distinguished IOC members, likewise all the Olympic family, and ask for your support in helping us to realize a peaceful and a better world through PyeongChang Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games. The success of PyeongChang Games is also thanks to you, IOC, international federations, national Olympic committees, media, broadcasters, and all stakeholders who have strongly supported the PyeongChang Games. Ladies and gentlemen, together we can raise the bar even higher. Together we can even create a miracle. Thank you.
네, 이희범 조직위원장님의 개회사 잘 들었습니다.
Thank you for your wonderful speech, President Lee.
여러분 다시 한번 큰 박수
Please give him
부탁드리겠습니다.
another round of big applause.
다음으로 이기흥 대한체육회 회장님의 축사가 있겠습니다.
Next is the congratulatory remarks by Mr. Lee Gi-heung, President of the Korean Sport and Olympic Committee. Please welcome President Lee with a big hand.
여러분 큰 박수로 맞이해 주십시오.
the Honorable IOC President Thomas Bach, and member of the IOC. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to Korea. I would also like to warmly welcome the President of the Republic of Korea, Moon Jae-in, President Lee Hee-bum, of the PyeongChang Organizing Committee for the 2018 Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games, as well as all the distinguished guests for gracing us with your presence to celebrate the opening of the IOC session. I would like to add my own heartfelt congratulations on the opening of the 132nd IOC session. In a few days' time, the PyeongChang 2018 Olympic Winter Games will begin. I hope that this edition of the Games will not only lead to the development and growth of winter sports in Korea, but also leave a great legacy for many people to enjoy and participate in winter sports. I would like to thank the IOC and all who are involved for their support during the preparation. I would especially like to present my sincere gratitude to the IOC President for his untiring effort to mediate the inter-Korean agreement and to ensure that the PyeongChang Winter Olympics will be engraved as Peace Olympic. The Olympic spirit based upon mutual respect and understanding has enabled us once again to get over the hurdle of antagonism and confrontation. Dear President and member of the IOC, the Seoul Olympic Games of 1988 has called for an earlier end of the Cold War. 30 years have passed. Here at PyeongChang this year, for the first time in Olympic history, a joint team has been formed by two Koreas. Athletes from both South and North will march together in one uniform, under one flag, at the opening of the Games. I'm confident that it will send a message of peace to the people of the world, and that it will cease the suffering of division for the people of Korea. Honorable President Bach and member of the IOC, with your continuing support and encouragement, the PyeongChang Winter Olympics will provide the precious momentum for both South and North Korea to find the path to reconciliation and cooperation, getting out of 60 years of confrontation. In closing, I wish that the PyeongChang Olympics will be a historic and successful Peace Olympic. And as the president of the host NOC, I pledge to fulfill my part of role to that end. Once again, my sincere congratulations on the opening of the 132nd IOC session. And I wish all of you good health and every success. Thank you for your attention.
네, 축하의 말씀해 주신 이기흥 대한체육회 회장님께 여러분 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Please give another round of applause to President Lee Gi-heung of KSOC.
네, 이어서 국제올림픽위원회 토마스 바흐 위원장님의 환영사가 있겠습니다.
Now, please allow me to welcome President Bach of the International Olympic Committee for his welcoming remarks. Please greet him with a big applause.
Monsieur le Président de la République de Corée, Moon Jae-in, Monsieur le Président du Comité d'organisation des Jeux olympiques d'hiver PyeongChang 2018, Lee Hee-bum, cher Président d'honneur du CIO, chers collègues et amis membres du CEO, chers présidents des fédérations internationales et des comités nationaux olympiques, chers présidents du Comité national olympique de la République de Corée, autorités, mesdames, messieurs, chers amis. C'est pour moi un grand plaisir de vous accueillir tous ici pour la 132e session du CEO à PyeongChang. Nous voici réunis ici à l'aube d'un nouveau commencement. C'est une magnifique année olympique 2018 qui s'annonce. Nous attendons naturellement avec impatience les Jeux olympiques d'hiver de PyeongChang 2018. À quelques jours maintenant de la cérémonie d'ouverture, le décor est planté pour l'entrée en scène des meilleurs athlètes de sport d'hiver du monde. Ces Jeux rassemblent le monde par la passion partagée de sport d'hiver. C'est aussi comme un nouveau commencement pour notre gracieux hôte, la République de Corée, représenté ici par son Excellence le Président Moon Jae-in. Bienvenue, Monsieur le Président, à la session du Comité international olympique. Pour la première fois, la machine du sport olympique sur la neige et sur la glace va opérer en Corée. Les Jeux olympiques d'hiver de PyeongChang 2018 ouvrent de nouveaux horizons. Ils insufflent l'esprit olympique à une nouvelle génération. Cet esprit olympique, la Corée l'a déjà connu en 1988 avec le Jeu de Séoul. Tirant parti de cet héritage, PyeongChang va écrire un nouveau chapitre extraordinaire de l'histoire olympique. PyeongChang partagera la passion du peuple coréen avec le monde. PyeongChang ralliera la jeunesse du monde aux valeurs olympiques d'excellence, d'amitié et de respect. The Olympic Winter Games PyeongChang 2018 have allowed another new beginning.
2018 평창 올림픽 대회는 한반도의 또 다른 새로운 시작을 가능하게 했습니다.
For a peaceful dialogue between the Republic of Korea and the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. The Olympic spirit has brought two sides together that for too long were divided by mistrust and animosity. The Olympic spirit has brought real hope for a brighter future for everyone on the Korean Peninsula. The Olympic spirit has brought us all together in mutual respect and understanding. Your Excellency, President Moon, you deserve our thanks for your faith in this Olympic spirit. It was a long and difficult journey. With regard to the athletes from the NOC of the DPRK, in 2014, the IOC started a special program to support them in the qualification process. At the same time, we started addressing the special political situation of having the Olympic Winter Games on the Korean Peninsula. For this purpose, we began preliminary talks at the highest level of government with different partners to explore the political implications. Since then, we have maintained and reinforced these contacts with all sides, in particular during the most difficult phases of political tensions. As I reported to you at our last session in Lima, we have held many discussions, always promoting a solution by dialogue and diplomacy. In all the conversations we had, the Olympic Winter Games PyeongChang 2018 were never put in doubt. On the contrary, we could always feel support. All the leaders gave us confidence in the Games, which allowed us to proceed with the preparations. Despite the sometimes worrying political circumstances, we were always standing at the side of our Korean hosts and never talked of a plan B. All these efforts finally led to the Olympic Korean Peninsula Declaration on January 20th at the IOC in Lausanne. On this day, the IOC took a number of exceptional decisions. As a result, we will see 22 athletes from the NOC of DPRK participate in these Olympic Winter Games. Together with athletes from the NOC of the Republic of Korea, they will march as one team behind one flag at the opening ceremony and form a unified team in ice hockey. Coming myself from and having competed for a formerly divided country, I'm looking forward to this with great anticipation and great emotion. 2 years ago, in Rio de Janeiro, with the first ever refugee Olympic team, the IOC sent a message of hope to the world. Now, in PyeongChang, by marching together behind one flag, the athletes from the teams of the ROK and DPRK will send a powerful message of peace to the world. My thanks go to the leaders of the delegations from the NOCs of the ROK and DPRK and to the governments of the ROK and DPRK who paved the way. These initiatives gives all parties the chance to reflect on what the future could look like if we were all guided by this Olympic spirit. But Korea's journey does not end here. The political tensions will not disappear overnight. Sport cannot create peace. But the Olympic Games can open the way with powerful symbols. It is our fervent wish for the Korean people, and indeed for the whole world, that this dialogue, which has only just begun, will continue. It is my hope that all the political parties involved will also be inspired by this Olympic spirit of respect and understanding demonstrated by the athletes. The Olympic value of excellence is clearly shown in the organization of these Olympic Winter Games. Here again, President Moon, you played and play an instrumental and essential role from the very first day of your mandate. You supported and promoted these games, making them your project. You even spent your first official holiday here in PyeongChang. This was indeed a powerful way of showing your commitment. And I know that in this way you inspired the Korean people, and in particular the PyeongChang 2018 Organizing Committee under the able leadership of President Lee Hee-bom. President Lee, we are aware that when you took office, you had many challenges to overcome. You have risen to those challenges in a most dynamic and efficient way. For this reason, I would like to personally thank you very much for your determination and commitment. Through the efforts of our Korean partners and friends, we can confidently say today, it is time for PyeongChang. In the meantime, you have got to know me well. So it will not come as a surprise to you when I, at the beginning of the Games, when I say it is too early for congratulations. But I'm extremely confident that I will be able to warmly congratulate the PyeongChang Organizing Committee and the Korean people on the occasion of the closing ceremony. Already now, I congratulate you on an Olympic record, with 92 national Olympic committees participating, 6 of them for the very first time. All this would not have been possible without the great work of our Coordination Commission. Therefore, I would like to thank very warmly our dear colleague and friend Gunilla Lindberg and all her colleagues. I would also like to thank the International Winter Sport Federations for their great help and cooperation in delivering these Games, and in particular, their chair, Gianfranco Casper. The Olympic Winter Games PyeongChang 2018 give the Olympic movement the best start to look ahead with confidence and optimism. This year, there will be many occasions when we will see the reforms of our Olympic Agenda 2020 come to fruition. One important reform is to strengthen the WADA-led worldwide anti-doping system. Initiated by the IOC, the newly established International Testing Agency will soon be operational. We are proud that with the establishment of the ITA, we have opened a new chapter in the fight against doping. In addition, for the very first time at the Olympic Games, both testing and sanctioning will be independent of the IOC. In today's world, it is more important than ever before to avoid even the perception of a conflict of interest. Making testing and sanctioning independent from sport organizations and national interests is therefore a vital step in that direction. This is why we call on all international federations and major sports organizers to follow our lead. On December 5th, 2017, the IOC had to sanction the systemic manipulation of the anti-doping system in Russia as established by the Schmidt Commission. This was an unprecedented attack on the integrity of the Olympic Games. This is why the Executive Board reacted with the toughest sanction for an NOC, the suspension from the Olympic Games. There will be no Russian flag and no Russian anthem here in PyeongChang. There will be no officials from the Russian Ministry of Sport. The Deputy Prime Minister and the then Deputy Minister of Sport have been excluded from any participation in all future Olympic Games for life. On the other hand, we had to uphold the principle of individual justice to which every human being is entitled. This is why we created a pathway for clean individual Russian athletes to compete in PyeongChang, but only under the strictest conditions. They were under the scrutiny of an independent panel which had to establish that there is no doubt about their integrity. Furthermore, they underwent 50% more tests than the next highest NOC. As a result, 3 out of 4 of those invited athletes did not compete in Sochi. We applied the same strict procedure after the extremely disappointing CAS decisions upholding a number of appeals. The privilege to be invited requires more than just the absence of a sanction. So we have not invited them. In this way, we want to do justice to all athletes, regardless of their passport. The invited clean Russian athletes can be ambassadors of a new generation. They can be the new role models for a change of culture in Russian sports. They can demonstrate to their fellow athletes that if you are clean, you are rewarded and not punished for the rule violations of others. Now, it is up to Russia whether they want to be welcomed back to the Olympic movement. Our implementation group will closely monitor the situation and make a recommendation to the IOC Executive Board at the end of the Olympic Games. This important issue goes to the heart of fair play, and we will discuss it fully tomorrow during our session. I would like to pay tribute to all those who have worked so hard on these complex issues. IOC Executive Board member Danny Oswald, former President of Switzerland Samuel Schmidt, former Minister of Sport of France Valérie Founeron, IOC Executive Board member Nicole Howards. Each of them has worked together with dedicated colleagues to ensure the protection of clean athletes, and I would like to express our gratitude to all of them. Later this year, we will see the transformation of the concept for the Youth Olympic Games, another reform of Olympic Agenda 2020 coming to fruition. At the Youth Olympic Games Buenos Aires 2018, we will experience this new format, making the York more youthful, more urban, more inclusive, and more female. It will be the first Olympic program with complete gender equality, the same number of girls and boys taking part in the same number of sport events. In Buenos Aires, the population will not just be invited to watch, but to be part of the Games. This will be demonstrated with the opening ceremony taking place in the heart of the city, rather than in a stadium, and by many other inclusive sports activities. With this New York concept, in Buenos Aires, we are taking sport to where the people are, instead of waiting for the people to come to sport. All the elements are in place for the York Buenos Aires 2018 to showcase the first Youth Olympic Games of a new era. Another direct result of our agenda reforms will be the very first Olympism in Action Forum. This will also take place in Buenos Aires just before the York. This forum will bring together a community of 2,000 stakeholders from the Olympic movement, business, politics, and civil society to discuss the most important topics for the future of sport. Together with our stakeholders, benefiting from the involvement of many young athletes, we will discuss the role of sport in today's society. We will cover a wide range of subjects, including education and health, the future of the Olympic Games, anti-doping, good governance, digitalization, and esports. Speaking of esports, we know that we do not have the solution yet. What we can say is that the intensity that competitive esports players show in their preparation and training is comparable to that you will find among athletes in traditional sports. This, however, is not the only point to be taken into consideration. The IOC is a values-based organization. Therefore, it is fundamental that we do not give recognition to an activity which infringes on our Olympic values. There can be no place for those video games which are about killing, which glorify violence, or which promote discrimination. So we are looking forward to a pretty lively debate in Buenos Aires, and I guess our Korean friends will play a major role in this, esports being pretty popular here in this country. The creation of the Olympic Channel is the most visible result of our efforts to engage with youth. So far, it has been a great success, already reaching more than 1.2 billion video views, with 85% of those engaging with channel content on social media below the age of 35, so our generation. The channel promises to be even more successful this year. Its new cooperation deal with Snapchat will reach the perfect demographic. New projects will make the channel even more interactive, and it will benefit from the Olympic Winter Games and from the live coverage of the Youth Olympic Games. Another journey we are on is to the Olympic Winter Games 2026. There, you, the IOC members, have reformed substantially the candidature process just recently. Because of this, we are confident that we can better address the special challenges we have concerning the Olympic Winter Games. To name just a few: geographic conditions, climate change, and ways of political decision-making with a lack of confidence in the future in a number of Western countries. At this moment, we are in the non-committal dialogue phase with a number of cities and NOCs from 3 continents. By concentrating on quality rather than quantity of the candidatures, we can be confident that at the next IOC session in Buenos Aires, we will be able to formally appoint candidate cities promising excellent Olympic Winter Games 2026. These candidates will benefit from our new approach to the organization of the Olympic Games, offering the potential of savings of $500 million for the Olympic Winter Games and $1 billion for the Games of the Olympiad. As you can see, we have a full agenda this year. But we can tackle this agenda with great anticipation and with confidence. In an otherwise extremely fragile world, despite all the challenges we face, we are still an anchor of stability. Let us all spread this positive message. Let us all promote the unifying power of this, our Olympic spirit. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
환영의 말씀해주신 토마스 바흐 위원장님 감사합니다. 여러분, 토마스 바흐 IOC 위원장님께 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
Thank you, President Bach, for your remarks.
이어서 대한민국의 문재인 대통령님께 축사를 청하겠습니다. 여러분 큰 박수로 맞이해 주십시오.
Next, I would like to welcome Mr. Moon Jae-in, President of the Republic of Korea, to the stage for his congratulatory remarks.
Honorable His Excellency Thomas Bach, the President of the International Olympic Committee and IOC members, welcome to Korea. Thank you very much for coming all the way to Korea. I believe that there are many of you here today who took part in the 1988 Olympic Summer Games in Seoul, either as an athlete or as a spectator. Ever since the Republic of Korea has created another miracle, we achieved remarkable growth not only in terms of the economy but also in democracy. Today, I would like to offer my warmest welcome to all of you, together with my proud fellow Koreans and the residents of Gangwon Province. You are in Gangneung, which is a city located on the eastern part of Baekdu-daegan Mountains that link the Korean peninsula from Mount Baekdu of the north to Mount Jiri of the south. The endless mountaintops that link its ridge renders Koreans in awe and respect for the Mother Nature. The stories of the lives hidden in the ridge resonates with us. Gangneung is also where many Koreans come to greet the New Year's sun every year. We renew our New Year's resolutions in front of the red sun vigorously rising above the wide blue sea. As such, Gangneung is where dreams grow. I hope your dreams, as well as the IOC's goals, will grow here in Gangneung. For this Winter Games, we built 5 skating rinks in Gangneung. In the neighboring cities, PyeongChang and Jeongseon, 7 snow parks are ready. We have been looking forward to see the great Olympians who will compete fairly and fiercely in these rinks. We are well aware of how much hardship the athletes have to endure and persevere for just that one match, or even 0.01 second. We will cheer wholeheartedly for their challenges and achievements, and we will also enjoy the thrill of that very moment when their endeavors are converted into cheers. We will also do our best that it will be an inspiration for our children, the future generation, to have hope and courage. Now, 4 days from today, the Olympic torch ends its journey as the 7,500th torch-bearer lights the cauldron at the Olympic Games Stadium that started at the Temple of Hera in Greece. The Olympic spirit will blaze up into the sky, and the Winter Festival of the World will begin. Honorable IOC members, distinguished guests, I believe it is particularly meaningful that the Winter Olympic Games is taking place in the Republic of Korea. We have abundant snow and cold wind during winter season. The winter 68 years ago was particularly harsh and cold. War demolished everything. We were displaced, people were displaced and lost their family members. My parents were among them. The harsh and freezing weather, where people were fighting for survival, is a sore history that is deeply engraved on the Korean peninsula. Nevertheless, now surprising events are unfolding before us. the divided nation, the land with deep wounds of war, the region so close to the truce line, is where the message of reconciliation and peace to the world commences. I believe this is a joy not only for Koreans, but to the peace-loving citizens around the world. There is another reason I believe this event is so meaningful. This Winter Games began and has been prepared together with Korean people's earnest hopes. Until this day, Koreans clearly remember the 123rd IOC session in South Africa in 2011. Many Koreans were watching the TV, eagerly waiting for the outcome of our third attempt. It was after midnight when the then President Jack Rogue spoke the word PyeongChang. Koreans were overwhelmed with joy, and we couldn't go to sleep. People were overwhelmed, and we were cheering hard. From that very moment, when all of us became one under the catchphrase, "Yes, PyeongChang fighting Korea," the PyeongChang dream, the PyeongChang promise, became more solid. Someone devoted their passion in the construction of the stadiums. Another contributed to the preparation of cultural performances. Others volunteered in welcoming the citizens of the world. PyeongChang Olympics and Paralympic Games is the outcome of the passion of our people. Honorable distinguished guests, IOC members, the Republic of Korea is ready. 7 years ago, as we promised in Durban, South Africa, we will open up a new horizon of the Winter Olympics. We put our utmost effort and resources, from warm friendship to cutting-edge ICT technology, to promote the Olympic spirit. We operated the DREAM program to give more opportunities to the youths around the world. The young from Kenya, Southeast Asia, South Africa, who have rare chance to experience the winter climate, participated in the program, who grew up to be great athletes and coaches. This Winter Games is truly athlete-centered games. All venues are within 30 minutes reach in order to provide the athletes with the best environment to focus on the games only. The PyeongChang Winter Games will also be a state-of-the-art information and communications technology-based Olympics like the world has never seen before. The athletes and visitors will experience the world's first 5G mobile communications test network, as well as the world's first terrestrial ultra-high definition and ultra-wide vision broadcasts. We should also remember that culture is another force that links the world together. I hope you will enjoy the special power of Korean culture through diverse cultural events scheduled throughout the Olympic Games. For the last several years, the Republic of Korea did our utmost to prepare for a successful Olympic Winter Games. The time has come to share the fruits of our efforts together with the participants, audience, and the world. It was the capability of our people that made this preparation possible, as well as the cooperation and support from the IOC. Together with the IOC, we will work toward the Olympic spirit of peace, friendship, generosity, and hope to permeate the world. Honorable IOC members and ladies and gentlemen, I would like to extend my special gratitude to President Bach and the IOC members at this meaningful event. I would also like to extend my appreciation to Mr. PyeongChang, the IOC member of North Korea. Let us look back a few months ago. It was only 1 or 2 months ago that the voices of concerns on the safety of PyeongChang Winter Olympics were raised throughout the world. Peace Olympic Games seemed an impossible imagination that North Korea will participate in the Olympic Games and an inter-Korean team is formed. But such concerns are gone, and now our imagination became a reality. The PyeongChang Winter Olympics will be the largest Winter Games in history. The largest team from North Korea is attending. The South and North Korean team will enter the Olympic Stadium behind the Korean unification flag. The IOC and the Republic of Korea is about to see the peaceful and safe Olympic Games to embark. Isn't this amazing? In September 2016, during the IOC session in Peru, I met with Mr. Bach, and he emphasized that the Olympic Games go beyond all political conflicts and a symbol of dialogue, hope, and peace. He added that he supports and the IOC supports the North Korean team to participate in the Games and will support them in the qualification process. This was when we were assured that the door to Peace Olympic is opening. Every time we were faced with difficulties ever since, he ensured us that dialogue and peace is in line with the Olympic spirit. The cooperation and support of IOC paved the road to PyeongChang Peace Olympic Games. Sport overcomes the barrier of ideology and politics. Exchange and communication through sport is peace in itself. It is all these that represent the great value of Olympic spirit. It is now time that PyeongChang shows this to the whole world. PyeongChang Winter Games is the beginning of the Northeast Asia Relay Olympic Games that will carry on to Tokyo in 2020 and Beijing in 2022. If this Relay Olympic Games can contribute to the peace and prosperity of Northeast Asia and that of the mankind, we will be able to create the most meaningful Olympic legacy in the history of the Olympic Games. To achieve this, I assure you that I will continuously cooperate not only with IOC, but with Japan and China, as well as all Asian countries. Honorable IOC members, distinguished guests, another value PyeongChang cherishes is sustainability. It is our core value. It is the core value of the Olympic Games. Tangible and intangible Olympic legacy should be preserved for the future and continuity of the Olympic Games. The Republic of Korea supports the international community's goal in promoting sustainable growth. We will contribute to the Olympic Agenda 2020 together with the UN and IOC. At the center of the New Horizon, we have the Korean people. Last winter, the Korean people showed the world the new hope of peace and democracy, the excellent capabilities of our people, and mature citizenship will lead all the positive changes throughout the Olympic Games and after the Games. I hope that I can convey this strong belief to all of you who are here today. Once again, congratulations on the 132nd IOC session. And I hope that our friendship between IOC and the Republic of Korea grows deep. The world is about to enter the winterland in Gangneung. We are heading one step toward peace. I hope to see you in PyeongChang. Ladies and gentlemen, I now declare the 132nd IOC session open. Thank you very much.
네, 대통령님의 축하의 말씀을 들었습니다. 여러분 좋은 말씀 주신 대한민국 문재인 대통령님께 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Please give another big hand to President Moon.
And there you have it, President Moon Jae-in at the latest IOC session held in Gangneung, South Korea. This marks the start of a very demanding schedule for the Liberal leader. The opening and closing ceremonies for the Winter Olympic Games are given. A series of bilateral summits with visiting global leaders are also lined up. The 2018 PyeongChang Winter Olympic Games begins this Friday and draws to a close on February 25th. The annual International Olympic Committee General Assembly is still taking place as we speak. Let's get a recap of President Moon's keynote speech at the event. We connect to our Cheongwon correspondent Hwang Ho-jun, who is standing by on the phone for us. Ho-jun, take it away.
Well, Daniel, President Moon Jae-in didn't shy away from expressing his excitement of South Korea hosting the quadrennial event. He started off his speech welcoming the guests attending the General Assembly, some 1,000 in total, and introducing Gangneung, the joint host city of the 2018 Winter Olympics, and where the event right now is taking place. Now, President Moon said that it is a dream come true for the nation to be able to host the Winter Games in PyeongChang in its third try after losing the bids for the 2010 and 2014 Winter Olympics. He introduced all the preparations South Korea has made as the host country, such as presenting to the world for the first time ever the ultra-fast 5G network service, as well as launching the, quote, Dream Program initiative that introduces winter sports to younger people living in countries that don't have winter weathers and winter sports. President Moon also thanked the IOC for not only letting North Korea participate in the Games, but also forming a unified team competing in the Games. He said a safe and peaceful Olympics is a brainchild of the efforts of both the IOC and South Korea, and that the PyeongChang Winter Olympics will show to the world that sports can transcend all political and ideological walls and boundaries, which is, according to President Moon, the greatest value of the Olympic Games. Again, the IOC General Assembly is still ongoing and is set to end later tonight with cultural performances and another reception. Earlier in the evening, South Korea's first couple attended a reception event welcoming some 100 IOC members. So as you can imagine, a very demanding week is ahead of the South Korean president, leading up to the long-awaited quadrennial event kicking off this Friday. Daniel?
All right, thank you for that brisk and very informative summary there, Ho-jun. We appreciate it. Now, North Korea's art troupe is set to stage performances in the South as part of a series of events to celebrate the Winter Olympics. They will cross over by ship. To quell concerns if the entry via sea violates bilateral sanctions, Seoul's government provided reassurance that's not the case. Kim Yong-nam explains further.
On Tuesday, the leader of the Samjeon Orchestra, Hyun Song-wol, will lead the rest of the 140-member art troupe into South Korea by ship, using the eastern coastal route.
The North is using the Mangyongbong 92 ferry to come to South Korea. They will be using it not just as a means of transportation, but also as accommodation for the art troupe during the concert period in Gangneung.
Seoul's Unification Ministry spokesperson also said the North ferry trip to the south will be exempt from South Korea's 2010 sanctions, which banned North Korean ships from docking in South Korean ports.
When it comes to UN sanctions, we will closely consult with the international community, including the US, in order to ensure the move doesn't violate sanctions.
The 2010 sanctions imposed by Seoul on Pyongyang are to punish the North for its sinking of the South Korean warship Cheonan in March of that year. An expert on North Korea said the Mangyongbong ferry entering a South Korean port will not be a problem since Seoul's government has considered it an exemption to make the PyeongChang Games a success.
The North's Mangyongbong ferry will be used as accommodation during the PyeongChang Olympics. We should approach it in a humanitarian manner. It won't be a problem to get understanding from the UN or US.
In preparation for the North Culture events, a 23-member advance team arrived in the south using the western land route on Monday morning. The 23 members arrived in advance to prepare for the concerts that will be held this Thursday in the Olympic host city of Gangneung and in Seoul this coming Sunday. The group brought musical instruments and other equipment necessary for the performances. Kim Yong-nam, Arirang News.
North Korea informed Seoul's government that Kim Yong-nam, considered its ceremonial head of state, will lead the 22-member high-level delegation to the south for the Winter Games, a move considered highly significant for many reasons. According to our Gangneung, the nation's top office welcomed the visit.
While the Olympic athletes soak up the spotlight during the events, it's important to remember the Olympics can often be about so much more. North Korea's ceremonial leader will make a never-before visit to South Korea this week, leading its high-level delegation for the Winter Olympic Games in PyeongChang, South Korea. Kim Yong-nam, the president of the Presidium of North Korea's rubber stamp parliament, will lead its 22-member delegation for a 3-day visit, starting with the opening ceremony on Friday, as hopes grow for high-level inter-Korean talks during the PyeongChang Winter Games. The 90-year-old, not related to its supreme leader Kim Jong-un, is often referred to as North Korea's nominal head of state because he receives visiting heads of state, approves the credentials of ambassadors, and represents North Korea on state visits abroad. South Korea's presidential Blue House, which has been hoping for a high-level delegation from Pyongyang, welcomed the decision.
Kim Yong-nam's visit shows North Korea's resolve for improved inter-Korean relations and the success of the Olympics, as well as its sincere, earnest attitude.
Since taking power last May, South Korean President Moon Jae-in has been eager to start dialogue with North Korea to ease tensions. While Kim Yong-nam is expected to meet President Moon, the Blue House declined to comment on how and where such a meeting will take place. The South Korean leader is also scheduled to meet with U.S. Vice President Mike Pence and Prime Minister Shinzo Abe of Japan, who will lead their country's Olympic delegations to South Korea. Washington and Tokyo have both, however, warned that efforts to improve dialogue between the Koreas should not weaken the sanctions enforcement that the United Nations has imposed on the North for its nuclear and missile tests.
Now, for the next few brief wintry weeks, global spotlight will be on the Korean Peninsula and the PyeongChang Olympic Games. For Mr. Moon Jae-in, he has a double task of carrying out a successful Winter Games in his home country and making sure hope for easing tensions on the peninsula, ignited by the Korea team marching under one flag, now that's just one, results in actual outcome even beyond the PyeongChang Olympics. Gangneung, Arirang News, the Blue House.
President Moon Jae-in asked the government to prepare its own drafts for a constitutional revision, as the National Assembly hasn't made significant progress in related efforts. On the sexual misconduct case that's being brought to the light, the Liberal leader vowed to sternly hold accountable those who commit such heinous crimes. Park Ji-won shares with us his remarks.
In a weekly meeting with his senior aides on Monday, President Moon Jae-in ordered the National Advisory Committee on Policy Planning to prepare its own draft of a constitutional revision as he pressed the National Assembly once again to come up with a widely agreed upon draft of the revision. The move came as he hopes to hold a national referendum on the constitutional revision in tandem with June local elections in the country.
지방선거와 동시에 개헌 국민투표를 하려면 시간이 얼마 남지 않았습니다. 국회가 국민의 뜻을 받들어 합의하는 것이 최선이지만 국회의 합의만을 바라보며 기다릴 상황이 아니라고 생각합니다. 이제 대통령도 국민 의견을 수렴하는 등 개헌 준비를 시작할 수밖에 없습니다.
In regards to a series of sexual harassment cases among the members of the nation's prosecution that has rattled the country since last week, President Moon conveyed words of consolation and encouragement for those who spoke up. He harshly criticized those involved in these cases as they failed to represent and live by the key role of their profession, which is to protect the law and order of the country. He strongly urged the Justice Ministry and prosecution to get to the bottom of all cases and sternly hold those responsible accountable. He also asked the private sectors to come up with stronger measures in this matter.
우선 성희롱, 성폭력은 한 개인의 일탈 행위가 아니라 성차별적인 사회 구조와 문화 때문에 발생한다는 점에서 위계 문화가 강한 정부와 공공기관부터 먼저 달라지고 모범을 보여야 할 것입니다.
President Moon asked the parliament to pass a law on establishing a government agency specializing on probes that involve high-ranking officials, a move that forms part of the government's efforts to reduce and prevent misconducts by those in power. Park Ji-won, Arirang News.
Behind bars no longer. That's the update on Samsung Electronics Vice Chair. This follows an appeals court decision to drastically slash Lee Jae-yong's sentence for bribery. Cha Sang-mi has the latest on the case linked to a scandal that brought down a president.
After almost a year behind bars, Samsung Group's heir apparent Lee Jae-yong walked free on Monday after his original sentence was suspended. It was also reduced to 2.5 years, and he will spend 4 years on probation. The de facto leader of Korea's largest conglomerate had been sentenced to 5 years in prison in late August 2017 for giving $8.1 million to former President Park Geun-hye and her longtime confidant Choi Soon-sil, offered as a form of sponsorship for Choi's then dressage rider daughter Chung Yu-ra. A special prosecutor's team had demanded a 12-year jail term for the 50-year-old billionaire on the charges at the time. The appeals court, however, overturned the lower court's ruling and reduced Lee's sentence. The court said that Samsung hadn't made any explicit or implicit request for government backing of a merger of two Samsung business units, a process deemed vital for his leadership succession and a charge of hiding assets overseas. 4 former Samsung executives also had their sentences commuted by the court. Lee was first indicted in February last year on 5 charges related to his alleged role in the corruption scandal, including bribery, embezzlement, and illegally transferring assets overseas. After the appeals court's verdict on Monday, attention now turns to the ruling on former President Bach. Cha Sang-mi, Arirang News.
Time to turn to Michelle Bach at the Weather Center for the updates you need. Michelle, it's bone-chillingly cold already, but I understand tomorrow it's going to get even worse.
That's right, Daniel. The cold was almost unbearable, but tomorrow the mercury is expected to drop even lower. Cold wave alerts have been issued for the whole country, so make sure to dress warm and also prepare yourselves before going outside. In these freezing conditions, it's snowing heavily over on Jeju Island and in the southwestern regions. Now, these areas will continue to get snow until tomorrow. The cold wave will be in full swing tomorrow, so starting off the morning at -14 degrees Celsius. Daegu is at -10. Busan also freezing cold at -9 degrees. You can expect a colder afternoon as well, with Seoul dropping down to -6 degrees. Gwangju and Busan looks a little better at -3 and 0 degrees. We'll have to stay strong against the cold until Wednesday. Now, it will ease over on Thursday, the day before the opening ceremony of the Olympics. Now, as for PyeongChang, it's under cold wave warnings as well, and it'll stay extremely cold right up until the games begin. I'll leave you with the weather conditions around the world.
That's it for tonight's special edition of Arirang News Center. As always, thank you for staying with us.